Hey guys, welcome back to Beast Quest Series 11, Book 2. And this has got to be my least favorite book in Series 11. That's not a bad thing, to just let you know. It's just that the first one I felt was a bit more better than the second. So, I'm going to get to the story and probably explain my reasonings for this when we get through it. Let's do this. Tom and friends were gazing on the shore after fighting Elko. This is a good moment to let our characters breathe. And I know that it happened in other series, but I feel like Series 11 is taking its time more with these moments, which I think is a plus. Anyway, Tom pointed out that Kenta was going to be more of a challenge than Malvel, as scheming as he had come across, and he had no idea how she thinked. Tom and Eleanor looked at the map and realized the next beast was called Tarrok, who awaited them in the desert. They called their new allies Tempest and Spark, and after passing some natural lands, saw what appeared to be a storm. But then our heroes realized it wasn't a storm, but a flock of mechanical birds, painted to look like average birdies. They were planning to attack our heroes. Tom and Eleanor tried to evade the mechanical birds, whilst doing they obviously knew who sent them, Kensa. Eventually they injured Tempest's wings, and soon Tom crashed in a field close to the village. Everything went black, and Tom awoke with Eleanor by his side. She explained Eleanor had mended his wounds, while the people had taken care of their animals. However, she had then informed Tom they were prisoners. This is something I was expecting. Normally, our heroes are taken prisoner due to misunderstandings, like in Titus the Horseman, where the villagers for our heroes had done something to one of their people, when realistically it was the beast. Hopefully, this won't be the case. Eleanor explained they also had their weapons, and after some talk about who was to blame for their failure, Tom told Eleanor to check her empty quiver for an arrowhead. Luckily there was one, and she used it to free Tom from his bonds tied to the bed. He tried to leave the room, but it turns out outside these walls was a big drop down below. Without wings, you would die. Soon enough, the two winged people came in. A wise woman and a strong warrior. She explained they were charged for murder at the disappearance of their people. They came to the conclusion that that our heroes are responsible, with Igor giving them false information. Tom tried to explain about the beasts and Hensa, but they informed them it was too late, as they had already been sentenced to death. Tom and Eleanor told them who they represented, while the big warrior ignored them. The elder woman listened to them and told she would inform the council. The big warrior told them to stay here until they returned. Mind you, I'm not sure how they were planning to escape, considering you need wings to get out of here, and besides, this is meant to be a prison. Anyway, after a vision from Adoro, he told our heroes to not give up, and he faded. The elder woman was back. No one knew she was back here. She aided our heroes into escaping, as she believed their story. She gave them back their weapons, but was unable to get their animals, so she brought devices that were used by younglings who hadn't grown in their wings yet. She even said if you die, they'll make sure to take care of their animals. They jumped off, and appeared that the gliders didn't appear to be working at first. This chapter makes me wonder about the earlier in the book where they got their new animals from a trader. He tells a story about how the original owner got rid of them as they didn't have any wings, and as we are aware, their wings were just waiting for a right time to be revealed. The problem comes in when Hankrau has devices to fix non-winged beings in Hankrau, why don't they just give this ability to all missing wings or damaged wings? The older owner could have maybe have those devices. Maybe Igor, yes, he's evil, but I think he could easily steal some. Heck, replace Tempest's wounded wing with them. I guess it all depends on how successful the gadget is. So far, not so well. Tom and Eleanor soon managed to get control of their gliders and glide from all the way to the desert. Once landed, they unharnessed and made their way across the desert, avoiding a fierce of mirage that resembled Taladon. Taladon played a trick on Tom. He soon got over it, and they soon found an area full of cacti. Knowing that cacti produced water, they went to the cacti and cut some down, squeezing the water from to feed their thirst, whilst avoiding the spines. Then suddenly the stand began to shake. At first they thought it was Tarrok. Then they assumed it was a man buried under the sand. Tom and Eleanor freed the person to be a wingman named Cywin. He explained he was one of the people sent looking for his sister. After healing him, he agreed to come with them in hope to find his missing sister. After some walking, Tom wondered where Tarrok was, as they were supposed to be right near according to the map. Soon they encountered another cactus. However, it seemed to move straight at them. Tom and friends saw the cactus revealed himself as the beast Tarrok. Tom noticed that a light emerged from his chest, so he decided to go for that, as that's what that destroyed Elko. However, that had proven a challenge with Tarrok, using his spike body for his advantage. He was able to fight off Tom and push him back, making him lose his sword. However, whilst Tom was looking for his sword, he found Cywin's sister, along with the other missing people. They had been killed by Tarrok. Alright, buried to death. Yeah, in some sort of in the sap. Cywin's sister, along with the other missing people, they had been killed by Tarrok, buried to death. No doubt, or maybe Tarrok gave them a burial. Anyway, Tom saw his sword and planned to go for it, but Tarrok was coming in fast. Tom fought Tarrok, and after some scuffling, he realized that none of their efforts were working. Even Cywin was no match. Tom soon realized he had to make time to the heart, so he climbed Tarrok, where Eleanor shot arrows. However, Tarrok revealed he could shoot sticky sap to stop Eleanor from firing arrows. With Eleanor down, Tarrok tossed off Tom and went to finish off Eleanor. Cywin rescued Eleanor, but they got caught in a gust of wind, and Tom tried to face Tarrok. However, in a scuffle, he lost his shield, and when he did hurt Tarrok, his sword was nothing but a painful splinter to him. Tom stared Tarrok in his eyes, and then Tom was saved as Cywin managed to reclaim his spear. He struck the spear into Tarrok's back while the beast collapsed onto Tom, and he raised his sword where Tarrok's chest was. Luckily, with his heart now removed, Tarrok quickly faded and left the next token, Nanook's bell. Also, the victims who were killed by Tarrok were now able to be, it wore off, so they're back alive. The sap, they were able to be free. Cywin's sister and the two other twins are back alive due to the beast dying, I'm guessing. So, the two twins, searching for. They offered since they're alive now. They offered we're gonna fly you back for what you've done. They offered to fly our heroes and help them explain to the council. So they flew back, and the victims spoke to the council despite half reluctance, and the vote was unanimous. However, Igor taunted our heroes, which was not a best move, as the villagers quickly turned on him. Then Kinsa showed up to also taunt our heroes, just to allow her mean to escape. Tom and Eleanor got their animals back, and were offered to stay for a quick meal, rest while a shield glowed, preparing them for their next quest. And that, guys, is the awesomeness of Tarrok the Blood Spike. There are some continuities I found in this book. At one point, the victims were supposedly killed by a Tarrok, but then later on it's revealed they're not, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But I think I get it now, because, you know, I assume they were dead because they were buried under, like, this sort of sand, but apparently they were also buried with, like, this. They weren't buried under sand, they weren't suffocating, they were, like, under the sand. They were entrapped by some. They were entrapped by the casing of the, you know, stuff of the casing of the shell of the sap. Now that the beast is dead, so they obviously were able to rise up from their cases and, like, burst out. So they weren't technically dead, even though I assume they were dead because they're under the sand. But anyway, you know, with that being said, it's still a good book. There are some things I really like about it. One thing I like about it is that this beast design is much cooler than the first. The plot of prisoners and stuff, like I said, has been done before in other Beast Quest books, like in Tiny the Horseman. I mean, if they're trying, I know they're trying to have, like, nostalgia for the first series with the tokens, but you don't need to add any more stuff to sort of resemble that, because this series is called The New Age, so maybe try and be your own. So, there are some elements like that pull it back. And it was nice to go back to the deserts again. We don't do that much. I remember Vipera was desert, but I forgot other stuff that wasn't. Other than that, Igor didn't do much when I thought he could have. All he did was taunt our heroes. It was nice to have some more winged characters. There was a nice conclusion. It was nice to see the animals get taken out of this, putting our heroes back to the stables of just the two of them. And they had a reason to. There are some stakes with this quest, even if they didn't get the beast back. So, you know, because of the council, you know. So there was some stakes in this book, but overall, I do think that Elko is a bit better. Because there was more. I had more fun with, like, the building up the series 11 than it does with this dry pacing for the desert. Because there's a lot of pacing, and, like, a lot of short pacing, basically, for this book, and it did drag at certain points. But those good elements do help it out. But I can easily say that Tarrok, to me, personally, is the weakest book in Series 11 so far. Anyway, guys, next time we'll be doing Brutus, the Hound of Horror. Till next time, guys. Peace.